Matt Doolittle for the Daily Flash in the lovely Daily Flash back room, and we got some breaking news today. Orenthal, O.J. Simpson is dead at 76. Now, it's very odd how to talk about O.J.'s death because you never want to accentuate someone's death, right? You don't want to celebrate it unless it's like a Saddam Hussein or something like that, or Osama bin Laden. But OJ was infamous for murder. Yes, before that he was a football player at USC. He won the Heisman, which he had to give up. He was a football player in the NFL. He was America's darling. OJ was beloved somewhat. And then in 1994, he went to trial for the murder of his ex-wife and her friend, Bron Goldman. His ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. Let's not brush over her name in this. But yeah, so OJ finally succumbed to a cancer diagnosis that he thought he beat. Bad choice of words. But OJ was infamous for murder. That's pretty much what it was. It was not his illustrious acting career in the Naked Gun films. It was nothing like that. It was straight up the murders. And it was the biggest story in the world at the time. We didn't have social media. We didn't have any of these other outlets to give us other news from around the world. And it was straight up OJ. It was OJ, OJ, OJ all the time. Sorry guys, I really ran in here to just jump on here. Not a proper setup. Just because this is a very personal story to me. I grew up in the age of OJ. I grew up in the era of the OJ trial. I was 9 years old when this was going down, so I knew what was going on. We had OJ Pogs. Again, you don't know what those were. There was the infamous Bronco chase down the highway. That's why you didn't see Broncos on the market for a long time, and why when the new one even came out, they wouldn't sell white ones. You had to go get it customized if you wanted a white Bronco. All the characters, Mark Furman, Johnny Cochran, his lawyer, Judge Ito. There were the dancing Itos on The Tonight Show. It really was a spectacle, and for a bad reason. OJ was accused of murdering his ex-wife and her friend Ron Goldman, who apparently was returning some sunglasses or something from a restaurant that she'd been at that night. The story goes, OJ was waiting for her. He showed up, so he killed her too. He'd had a history of domestic fights with Nicole and some other women, and some of the stories that had come out. He always came off as happy-go-lucky in the media, but behind the scenes, everybody kind of always pushed that he was a little intimidating and had a temper. He didn't like that his ex-wife was dating and going out. A lot of stuff behind that. So he got acquitted on that. If you remember the infamous, if it must fit, you must, doesn't fit, you must acquit. Well, it didn't fit, so they acquitted, and they blame the prosecution at that time for that case getting basically, going in OJ's favor. Now, OJ got off. He could go off. Now, he did lose in a civil suit with the Goldman family, so he was told to pay millions and millions of dollars, and he never did. He had all of his assets kind of taken away. His Heisman was auctioned off to try to pay that debt. Then in 2007, because he couldn't leave well enough alone, OJ in Las Vegas attempted a robbery of a guy who had a bunch of his memorabilia. If you listen to OJ, he ended up going to prison for 10 years. And for many people, it was long overdue because he finally got to spend time in prison, where I'm sure he got heckled, but he admitted on a podcast a few years ago that he was getting love letters while he was in there. So I don't know if you want to be with OJ. And then for years, he would pop up in Miami after he got out of jail on parole in 2017. He just kind of lived out his life playing golf and hanging out and popping up at Bills games weirdly, trying to be a celebrity, which was very odd at the time. So OJ is dead. Let us know what you think. It was a cancer diagnosis, inevitably, that took him down. One of the most infamous, I guess, people that got away with it. He was one of the first. And then we had the Casey Anthony's and George Zimmermans of the world that this all happened with. But I remember this vividly in my life. I know a lot of you that are younger than that don't remember the OJ thing at all. You don't even really know who he is, because nobody really wanted him to endorse anything. There weren't kitchen knife sales out there. Oh, too soon. for him, or gloves, or Broncos, or all the stuff that went into it. If you really want to go down a rabbit hole, go onto YouTube and you'll see all the circus that went along with it. And again, peace and love to his family. I'm sure they loved him to a point, even though that was hanging over his head. But I'm really interested to see if maybe he left a note saying who the killers really were. That would be our hope. So we don't have to know that he did go to his grave with this, because he always said, I will find the real killer. Right. He really made the big effort of that. All right, let us know what you think in the comments. Send us comments, hit us up. Hit me up, Matt@dailyflashshow.com. You can find me on all my socials at Matt Doolittle. It's with 2 O's. And just let us know what you think. We'll put your comments on the show, or we're going to be doing a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff, or backroom stuff, actually. So let us know, and we will get back to you on that. So with that, peace and love. Peace and love.